Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. What are we starting today off with? A Dremel Multi Pro. Wee Dremel tool, looks like it's for drywall. Looks like an American one. You can tell they're American because they'll have more warnings and safety information on the back. I don't know if it's just a standard Dremel or not familiar with them. This one has obviously been used for drywall anyway. Has a drywall attachment for it anyway, and a drywall cutter or drywall bit on it. That's for cutting sideways along plasterboard, cutting out boxes and whatnot. So we know what's going to be wrong with us straight away. Bearings. She's turning and she's running, but she's running very badly. Bearings are all seized up because of the drywall dust, making it very difficult to turn. So we'll get into this and see if we can change the bearings. Question is, how do we get into here? So this is an attachment. Fairly simple. Get that off. We'll remove the head. Take that off. Imagine that little clip will have to come out as well. And also just take the brushes out. And it looks like there's just 4 T15 screws holding it together. And we're in. There's not an awful lot here. Tiny little motor. And there's our bad bearing. That one's totally shut. This one's not as bad, but we'll still change it. But the motor seems okay. But it's definitely going to need a clean out. No electronics or nothing on it, just a variable speed switch here. 2 brushes there. Your actual stator and a cable. Nice and simple. First thing we're going to want to do, clean out the dust. Now, the question is, how do I get this bearing off? So this is the one that needs to come off. But the shaft is on over the top of it, so I can't get this bearing off without taking the shaft off. She's just a wee insert. Can't imagine this is threaded on. I would say it's just pressed on. We can't get anything in here to get a grip of it. So we can't use pullers. So I would imagine we just have to clamp the bearing, pull the bearing off, and try to press this shaft off at the same time. So to do that, I need something to go into the center, because obviously I can't press on the shaft itself. Need something on here. I'm going to use an M4 bolt. We'll hold the bearing and we'll press the bolt See if you can press the bearing and shaft off together. Obviously the bottom one is very easy to change. It's just this one is going to be difficult. Before we do that, we'll just mark them holes. We'll just mark the actual shaft underneath so we know where to actually press this back onto again. Because you wouldn't want this too high or too low, otherwise it's not going to line up with this lock pin again. We'll have to get that on just right. Actual parallel punch might work a wee bit better than the bolt. Starting to bend. Right, screw didn't work, way too weak. And a parallel punch won't work either, that's just bending. That's fairly tight on there. Instead, I'm going to use a steel nail. It's actually a washered steel nail with the tip cut off of it. Hopefully, this does a better job. Finally. There we go. That took quite a bit of force to get that off. As you can see, there's wee markings there. So I don't know where to press this back onto. Bottom one's no problem. That top one, she is quite tight. What is she? Probably one of the reasons why they failed so early. Made in China. No brand. What is she? 626. And that one's the same. 626. Instead, we'll stick on a few NSK bearings. Should keep it lasting a bit longer. Now the bottom one isn't a problem. It only goes on a little bit, has the shaft sticking out a little. It's the top one that's critical. You can see where the old one was sitting. Press that on first. Then we'll press the threaded shaft over the top of it. That should be plenty. Now for the awkward one. Doesn't look too far away. I think we'll go with that. Now this is the critical bit. Getting the shaft pressed back on, but to the exact amount. Has to be just back to this marking. Any more or less, the lock pin for locking the armature when you're changing bits won't locate into this hole and won't lock up. think that should be me. Now, main question is now, will it work? Test it here now on the actual lock pin. There we go. Perfect. Now your lock pin sits up here. Now, like a standard lock pin, there's no coil spring on top. Spring to lock it. It's actually this here. This goes together quite easily. Stick that up there. Drop in your bearing. This wee leaf spring is what's pushing down your lock pin. It'll be pressed down whenever the other half goes on. A lot smoother already. What I don't like about this here is the grommet. She's actually a moulded grommet. See, the actual cable itself is actually part of the grommet. So in other words, if you break your cable, if it wears out, if you cut it, you're going to have to replace the entire cable with the grommet and plug all together. Or if you don't want to buy a new cable, you can cut the wires here, drill out the grommet itself to make a big enough hole for a new cable to go into, and thread a new cable in and joint them in here. A wee bit of a handle on that. It'd be handier if it was just an open grommet. Wee quick connectors. That's that. The cover then just goes over the top. These are nice small screws, so put them in by hand just in case the drill happened to strip them out. Different if it was a drill or something. There's about 10 odd screws holding it. This is only 4. Each of those screws is holding in the bearings. And if you miss one, the thing's not going to square up properly. Let's just clean that out. That's her. See what she sounds like now. Nice one. one Dremel Multi Pro fixed up again. 2 new 626 bearings. Anyway folks, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, if you find them helpful, don't forget to give us a wee like and a follow. Give us a wee comment down below as well if you have any questions on them. Cheers, thanks for watching.